Check, are you good?
I can see it's working out, but thanks. Hopefully, I'm not sharing frequencies with anybody. I think I'm on the same frequency as Rosie. Fine.
Really?
Yeah. Oh. I think I am.
Does that camera have like a automatic zoom? Or do you have the
Turn mine off and see.
On the hand.
handle? Okay,
Yeah.
that's really nice.
Yeah, I know, like I said, I've just been trying to play with it as much as I can.
Hey man, sorry about
Yeah.
you.
Why did they do
Looks
that?
like they make
Someone's on my frequency.
What number are you?
Why would they do
Yeah.
that for news? It's really cool. It's more like
do my live shot.
Yeah.
Film back here.
So
That's me, that's, I'm trying to
frequency was,
like Ohio voices from Ohio, like
Yeah.
just sit down
Yeah.
and,
That's
Like
like
1.2.
what you're doing.
yes, and so I've just
375.
been taking it out.
I would
Lately,
too.
just to
I would.
practice
I
and
totally
get
would.
familiar.
That's a way
yeah.
better camera.
Oh, yeah.
The image went out better than me. I can see
Yep.
my.
Yeah,
face
so
moving
I
without it.
just like
Yeah.
play with
So I would
it.
I would do it all the time. I wouldn't even take one of these.
Yeah.
Might as well.
Yeah.
It is, it's so much lighter.
Yeah, we should
Yeah.
probably go ahead and step out. I just called Scott, told him what we're doing.
He's 5'10".
Yeah, it's clear as a bell. I mean, well, listen, I'll turn mine on and tell me who's doing that. Check. Anyone out hear me? Hello?
You're there, Aaron?
Check.
No.
Check. That's you?
I hear music in the background.
Yeah. So me, you, and Rosie.
Maybe
yeah.
that's, it's that
Did
one.
you hear something?
Look at your body pattern. I just want to see the frequency, I'm just curious. Because that one is 5 something.
Oh, can you say something? Clear
512
as a bell.
dot
Okay,
375.
never mind, I'm gonna have to, I gotta swap frequencies. Yeah, I'm on yours.
Oh, okay.
Yes, ma'am, George. I don't know if she can hear me. Where's the mic?
It's here.
Yes.
I grabbed a little bit.
Yes, ma'am. That's correct. Gotta have the live head. Okay, thank you. About a minute and a half.
I'm working on it.
I know, you know how to yours real fast?
Yeah, which one is it? Oh, my God.
Sure. Yeah, it's fine.
What do I need to do?
I think you're good.
Oh,
I mean, if not, I mean, if you have an issue, I could hardwire him and give him a stick mic.
Okay.
I'm just using him. He's asking questions.
Nope, I just swapped mine right now. Check. All right.
Mess with my mic, George.
Which one? Funny, 'cause I was like, oh, I can see everything moving as I thought. All of a sudden, I hear you shh. That's not good.
Yeah.
Hey, it's George. Just double checking that you can see my signal off the G to 0. Sure, hold on. Check 1 2, check 1 2 3 4. Hello. Yeah, but okay. Yeah, I leave it on for this press conference. If there are any questions you hear in the background. So, just let. Are you going to record it also? Yeah, and then tell Matt Rascone that it's feeding, so he can watch it. All right, thank you. Bye. it's like drizzling. We get out of the car, these big drops are hitting, and they're cold.
God hates you.
That's it. Suck it up.
See?
Well, downtown. Oh, it is.
Yeah, it probably is, yeah.
Because
It looked like it was
coming down, and
I mean,
then as I was driving, it would catch up to me.
Is that what you were saying that you?
So I was trying to say.
You're chasing it down.
Everyone's chasing.
Because it doesn't sound like it's raining anymore.
I was looking at Adrian down there to see if it's still leaking.
We're never gonna get this up, right?
What's that?
Taking forever. This whole day, it's just like, I just wanna get this fed back. Actually, maybe I'll just have them cut it. I'll just feed it back anyway. I'll just do that, because,
Cut the bite back at the station.
yeah, because I mean, at this point, it's getting so late, and it's just, that's all we got, except for what we did yesterday night. Put everything in.
I'm trying to remember, this is a shooting, I didn't cover it at all, so.
Officer involved shooting the 18-year-old kid.
So he lived in that house?
Don't know,
Oh.
but based on what we saw,
And they had the little camera.
yeah, what we do, yeah.
Joey, can you pass that to me on the other side of your camera? Sure.
Just a second, where is it? Duck one anymore. Huh? Just sit over there, just duck one in. I'm sure it's fine, I'll go get it.
I'm gonna need this for asking questions, that's why.
It's not, well, then how to plug it back in then?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, you mean you're,
Oh, I didn't know you wanted that.
Yeah, that's why I wanted 2 mics.
Okay.
I can do that, maybe.
I thought you needed a mic for your, live shot.
No. They said they want to hear my questions, so.
What's that?
Oh, you flip-flop.
Yeah. It's all right, thank you though. Give me a check on that, Harry.
Check, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Okay, got it, thanks.
Thank you. Executive interest, okay.
yep, we'll be here.
All right, we'll get started in just a second. We're just waiting for the communications director to join us. He'll be in just a second.
Kevin, did you lose programming?
No?
I did. I wonder why. Oh, I got it.
Okay, so we'll get started now. Thank all of you for joining us. We know that we appreciate and respect your role in getting this information out to the public. So I want to thank you all for being here and covering this today. We are here in response to a tragedy that occurred last night. And so I want to make some initial comments before turning it over to the Chief of Police. My name is Mayor Kahlil Seren here in the city of Cleveland Heights. And last night, officers responding to a disturbance call on Yellowstone encountered an individual, and that encounter resulted in an officer-involved shooting. And in that shooting, the individual, it was a fatal shooting. And obviously, this is a tragedy no matter when it happens and no matter to whom. In this case, it was 18-year-old Christian Thomas, a Cleveland Heights kid who died in this incident. And first, I think I want to express my deepest sympathies and condolences to the family. I've had some brief conversation with them. and I've expressed those condolences to them as well. And they told me a little bit about their son, about Christian. Christian was a winner of a spelling bee, champion of the spelling bee when he was at Monticello Middle School, played sports, played instruments. And I just want to express to everybody watching that it is a tragedy that this occurred. The family asked me a little bit earlier. I know that there have been some press organizations that have visited the house and expressed an interest in talking with them, and they've asked me to convey on their behalf if the press could give them a bit of time and privacy for a little while. And they did express that they would reach out to press organizations when they are ready to have more conversation publicly about this incident. In an officer-involved shooting like this, we follow our protocol, and we have contacted, and Ohio BCI has come and taken over the investigation. So the investigation into these actions is out of our local hands and in the hands of the state now. And I just want to express to the people of Cleveland Heights and beyond that Cleveland Heights takes this extremely seriously, and we recognize that this is a tragedy, and we don't want anyone to look at this and our action subsequent to this incident as anything other than us taking it very seriously and allowing Ohio law enforcement to look into this in a thorough investigation. We believe that it is our role to cooperate fully in that investigation, and I'm looking forward to the results of that investigation so that we have a clearer understanding of exactly what happened and why. So in this case, some of the information that we don't have locally, we will be waiting for the state of Ohio to provide. And so I don't want anybody to mistake silence on any particular topic related to this incident as indifference. It is simply that we are not in charge of the investigation, and we don't want to lead to any conclusions about exactly what happened last night. And with that, I'll turn it over to Chief Britton to provide a little bit more specifics about what occurred. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, everybody. Chief Chris Britton, Cleveland Heights Police. Just following up what the mayor indicated, you know, my deepest condolences on behalf of myself and the police department goes out to Christian's family and friends. Certainly, you know, in my role as police chief, we do everything we can, and certainly the outcome last night is nothing we would certainly hope for. But my goal here this afternoon is to provide some information to the community and to you all, to give you kind of an insight what transpired and provide the information that I can give to you without jeopardizing, like the mayor said, the criminal investigation being conducted by BCI and then our own internal investigation in regards to the use of force. But nothing less, the scenario was nothing short of intense. Like the mayor said last night, around 10 p.m., we were dispatched to 1309 Yellowstone Road on a report of a disturbance involving a father and his son. It was reported to dispatch that the son, Christian, was armed with a handgun and he had his hand on the trigger. Officers were met outside upon arrival by two females. They told the officer that Thomas and his father were involved in a disturbance inside, and they confirmed he was armed. And he had fired the weapon inside the home prior to police arrival.
Officer remained outside the home and heard Christian's father tell him repeatedly to take his finger off the trigger. And at one point, it's observed officers see Christian standing in the front doorway with the gun in his hand. A short time thereafter, officers reported hearing a loud crash, followed by at least one gunshot. Christian subsequently exited the home while still holding the gun, encountered by CHPD officers at the side of the house. 3 CHP officers discharged their weapons, injuring Christian. Officers immediately rendered first aid and CPR, but tragically, Christian died from his injuries. No officer or bystanders were injured. Officers requested EMS, and Cleveland Heights Fire Department squad responded to the scene. And then it was also reported, one officer reported locating a handgun and a shell casing at the scene. In accordance with department policy, like the mayor indicated, the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation was notified and responded to the scene and will be handling the criminal investigation into the incident. The involved officers are now placed on administrative leave, and our internal Bureau of Professional Standards has launched the internal investigation into the incident. And as you're aware, this investigation is still active and ongoing. Thank you.
I imagine you may have some questions. You may or may not be able to answer all of them, but we're willing to try.
Yeah, Jonathan Walsh from News 5. What led to the argument inside the house that led to then somebody calling police for help?
I don't know that we are in a position to describe specifics without having more information from the people who were involved on the scene and the family. And I believe that investigation will be handled by BCI as well. And so that would be a question for Bureau of Criminal Investigation once they go through that process.
Did Christian live at that house?
My understanding is yes.
Mr. Mayor and Chief, when you talk, if you could move a little closer to the mics individually, I'd appreciate it. Chief, at any point, did Christian point the gun at the police officers or fire them? I know that there was a report of his having a gun, but in Ohio, one is legally allowed to have a gun. Did he point it at the police officers? Did he shoot at the police officers? Why did they feel the need to use lethal force?
That I don't know. Like I indicated, this is based upon my preliminary review of the incident. We still have reports to be filed and completed, so I'm unaware of what happened in particular at that point.
Have you had a chance to view body cam at all to see the sequence of what happened?
I've done a preliminary review, but I haven't reviewed them in their entirety.
I've not had a chance to review body cam footage yet.
What conclusions have you drawn from your initial viewing of the body cam?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
What initial conclusions have you drawn from looking at the body cam?
I have not drawn any conclusions at this point, and I will not do so until the investigation in its entirety is complete. The BCI does their investigation and review, and until we complete our own.
Chief Britton, I just didn't know how many shots were fired by officers, and then do you know who was the owner of the gun, the handgun that they found with the 18-year-old?
I don't know who the owner of the gun is, and I do not know how many shots were fired by the officer. That's under investigation still with BCI.
Mr. Mayor, what do you want this community to take from this tragic incident?
Without knowing the specifics and the details specific to Mr. Thomas and his family, one thing that I will say is that this is a circumstance that I think could and should be avoided in civilized society. The prevalence of guns obviously is a problem in and of itself, especially in a state like Ohio, where municipalities are prohibited from taking any strides with regard to regulating guns. And in a state that allows for such lax gun ownership standards, that the number of guns probably outnumber the number of Ohioans. his faith. Aside from that, I know that the people of Cleveland Heights want us to embrace strategies of responding to crises in ways that are more holistic. And this administration and this Division of Police has been working diligently to make strides in those efforts. And we've just recently begun a new program in coordination with the City of Shaker Heights and several other communities, expanding first call mental health crises and substance use crises. And that process is just beginning, but we know that will make great headway in working to avoid these sorts of situations if there's a component relevant to those programs here.
Chief, do you know if there has been any interaction with police and Christian before now?
I can't say off the top of my head. I don't have firsthand knowledge.
How about that address? Have they been called to that address for issues in the past?
I don't have firsthand knowledge.
Chief, these kind of incidents can often cause tension between the community and police. Nobody wants that. What do you foresee the police department doing in conjunction with the city and its residents to forestall any kind of repercussions? That may be the wrong word, but I think you understand what I mean.
Well, I would say to you, the one thing, being a longtime resident and the police department, the one thing I cherish about the city of Cleveland Heights, how the community and the residents and the police department, the fire department, the first responders have always had open communication and dialogue to share information and share ideas, how we can move forward to help each other in crises like this.
I'm gonna chime in on that one a little bit too. I think one of the things that we need to do as a city is make sure that we are being open, that we are cooperating fully with state investigators, and that we recognize that this is a circumstance where a young man in our city was taken from us, from all of us. And in this moment, I know, I'm hoping that I and the rest of our community can wrap our arms around this family and let them know that we care about them and we care about their son, about Christian. And that his life was important. And that, the moves that we make to improve all of our lives and improve the ways that we interact with residents, it will also be done in his name. I think that because I don't know exactly what happened and I can't create a conclusion out of thin air, I need to wait until the people who are doing the investigation provide us with that information, and I know that waiting can feel interminable. And right now, waiting on the results of an investigation provides no solace, but I would like to at least let people know that this is a real investigation. This is something that will bring the truth to light, and based on that, we will move forward in an open, honest, and caring way.
Chief, you had a chance to look over the body cam. At any point on that body cam, did Christian point that gun at your officers?
Again, I only did a quick review of that, and I don't want to say anything that might jeopardize any investigation.
It wasn't clear cut?
Again, the brief video I observed, I did not observe that.
You did not observe him pointing the gun at the officer?
I did not see that.
But he had the gun in his hand?
I did not see that from what I saw.
Chief Britton, I just was curious about the family's cooperation in the investigation. Are they cooperating, or where does that stand? I know this was a domestic dispute or call you guys were.
I might need to answer that. I was on scene last night, and I want to make it clear. Cleveland Heights Police, upon this incident occurring, did one major thing, and that was to cordon off the area and keep the scene absolutely untouched while waiting for the Bureau of Criminal Investigation to arrive. I saw firsthand that the emphasis was on making sure that any investigation would be clear and unspoiled by any activities by either police or residents in the area or witnesses to the event. And so what I observed last night was not an investigation. And so the cooperation of the family would not be with Cleveland Heights Police, it would be with the Bureau of Criminal Investigation. So, this is obviously a very difficult time for the family. And I think sort of the officers on scene understand that. And when it comes to sort of investigating that interaction that occurred prior to officers getting there, sort of what Cleveland Heights Police did was hold the scene stable so that BCI could come on scene and do the investigation themselves.
Chief, I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor. Chief, no insinuation, but from what you have been able to observe, did your officers follow Cleveland Heights Police protocol?
Again, I'm not making any type of remark or assumptions or insinuate in any way, so I'm not going to comment on that point.
Chief, you said that there was a crash and then a shot and then he exited the house? Or was it a shot, crash, and then he exited?
It's a close sequence of events. Like I said, what I could review today that to clarify the facts that I know firsthand is prior to police arrival, there was one shot in the home. Then officers heard what they described as a loud crash, followed by a single shot. So that's what I reviewed from the initial police reports.
So after that shot, the second shot, that's when then Christian exited the house, and how did he exit? From the back door, window?
And that's where that part is, part of the criminal investigation. I don't have firsthand knowledge of how that played out.
Was anyone else in the house injured?
No.
How long were police on scene before firing their weapons?
I don't like to make a guess, but I know it was several minutes.
Mary, were you able to have a counselor with that Shaker Heights coalition that they just started recently? Or have you started that program yet?
We've just begun that program in June, and we've got 2 people from Recovery Resources that are working with Cleveland Heights Police now. And we're also, and I believe the chief has reached out as well to offer any services that they may be able to render to the family. And additionally, I did receive a call from Maisha Watkins from the Cleveland Peacemakers Alliance that and she may be reaching out to the family as well to see if they can provide any services or connect with these services that may be useful to the family right now.
So this counselor was not on scene before the shooting or anything? Never made it?
As far as I understand, the counselor was not present at this incident.
Mr. Mayor, Chief, any outreach to the community after this, or do you have any planned?
So that's in part one of the things that I'm hoping to work through with Ms. Watkins, Director Watkins at Cleveland Peacemakers Alliance, to hopefully work with them to see if there's a way that we can work with the community, with the family, to come together right now.
Some cities have rules about how soon they'll release body cam, or that they'll release it in 7 days. Do you guys have a plan or schedule when body cam may come out?
Yeah, we don't. We're still, as you can imagine, there's a lot of body camera footage download, and we spent we still may be in the process of downloading that. That all has to go to the law department for review and redactions, so I know, you know, the need for the information, want to see that, but at the same time, we have to maintain the integrity of that information and evidence, so it has to go through that review process.
So there's nothing like Akron's got like a 7-day,
No.
nothing like that.
I will say this, Cleveland Heights is generally dedicated to releasing public records as required and in a timely manner. And so, you know, we don't anticipate any unnecessary delay whatsoever in the release of that footage.
When was the
Going through
last-
that process in the law department is a requirement.
When was the last officer involved shooting or officer involved event like this in recent history?
I don't know, I don't recall off the top of my head.
Chief, how many officers fired weapons? One?
3.
So was Christian a high school student or a recent graduate? And which school did he go to?
I understand he attended Cleveland Heights High School.
So he was a current senior or current
I
student?
believe he's a graduate.
Graduate?
And Superintendent Kirby sent out an email today to all the students and staff, and they've made counselors available to folks who knew him at the school.
Gentlemen, thank you. Appreciate you.
As more information becomes available, we'll try to make that available to you as well.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I've got this is a copy of what the chief gave. And pretty much everybody has asked for, has made a public records request, all your stations and outlets. I can report that all the information has gotten to the law department as of this afternoon, and they're reviewing it. So
Yeah.
Captain Lynch let me know that everything is over there. So we're moving, we don't have a 7-day waiting period, we'll get it to you as quickly as we can. So much.
But when you reviewed the video, you didn't necessarily see that.
I just want to be clear that I only reviewed snippets. I didn't review the entire videos, so I can only say what I saw. I
Did not see the gun in his hand.
I did not.
Did not see him raise his arm or
did not see it.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. I appreciate your help.
Chief, how many
Thank you.
officers did respond? Do you know the total number?
I would say, I don't know off the top of my head.
The initial response to the disturbance call, or?
Yeah, up to the shooting point. How many officers? Was it just the 3?
I don't know off the top. I'm sure there were several officers there, but without looking at the shift roster and the dispatch log, I wouldn't be able to tell you for sure.
So at least 3 is all we can really say.
Yes.
And those 3 are on leave.
Correct.
Any idea what is the names on those guys?
Wait a minute, sorry.
Names
Of the officers involved?
that's a good question, I guess.
Thank you.
It's,
I don't know if there are any particular requirements on that or restrictions on that. We'll run it through